week 2 of 30 minutes crochet in 30 days for bone cancer research. It's going really, really well. I didn't do as much as I thought I would do in terms of the quantity of what I've crocheted. There's also been a side quest as well. I realised that this week it was quite cold, so I ended up kind of stepping aside from the blanket and crocheting myself a headband while I was in work on my lunch break because my ears got so cold, and I found this chunky black wool that's been in my sort of wool stash for so long. I thought, you know what, I'll throw that in my bag and I'll make myself a little crochet headband. I think what's really important when you take on a large project like this to have those little side missions. So this week I think I'm going to crochet myself some mittens because my hands were absolutely freezing. Part of my job, I work kind of half indoors and half outdoors. So when it gets to this time of year, I start needing those little crochet items to kind of keep myself all toasty. I managed to hit my goal though, obviously the minimum of 30 minutes a day. My additional goal for this is to get a blanket completed within a month. So that's like a bit of an additional tag on to what I've initially kind of signed up for, my own personal little goals. Here is the calendar that I have filled in. And as you can see, minimum each day, I'm doing about an hour and a half. 30 minutes a day is extremely doable for me, so I want to try to push that. This week, there was quite a few different curveballs. My little boy, he has started 2 new clubs in the last 2 weeks. He goes swimming and now he's joined the squirrels. So joining those additional clubs, that has also kind of threw a bit of a curveball into how I'm managing my time as well. So today, it's Sunday, last day of week 2. My goal today is to try to get myself up to that 48. I know that I'm not going to have them all stitched together, but I think I'm going to have a good go at it. So far, I've managed to crochet 8 squares. But what I'm doing is I'm leaving the surrounding cream edging. And what I'm going to be doing is working on that while I'm on my train journeys. What I'm finding is it's a lot easier to do just one colour wool while I'm on a train journey rather than doing all those colour switches. Trying to grab wool out of your backpack when you're on a journey, on a commute, on a busy commute early in the morning is not ideal. So that is what my plan is for the rest of the project. So let's get into the week. This is day 4 of the 30 minutes, 30 day crochet along that I'm doing for bone cancer research. And to be honest, I've actually got quite far today with my work. This is where I am up to. This morning I did this base, so I have completed 8, but then I have also started doing another load. What I'm thinking is when I take this to work, I'm going to try and do as many tiny little squares and bring only the cream and take that to work with me. So when I'm on the train, I'm not having to change all of these different yarns. So my goal today is to get as many of these done as I can. And then what I'm going to be doing is doing all of the surrounds and joining them up when I'm on the train, when I'm on my lunch break. And I think that is going to work best for me. So we will see how I get on. Sorry to bring this up again, but I need to talk about this yarn for a second. This is the Hobbycraft Everyday yarn that I mentioned in the last video, where I took the paper off the packet and there was glue all over the yarn, and I didn't give it the best review. But I've just started a new yarn, and I'm sorry, but what is this? What is this? It's all loose in one bit. There was like a knot in the other bit. I just don't get it. So like I said, this is the second ball, so I wonder what will happen when we have the third ball. I'm going to be interested to find out. So the amount of squares that I managed to get complete today was 24. 8 of those are complete with the cream surround, and the rest are these tiny little squares, which will be getting completed while I'm sat on the train or when I'm sat in the lunchrooms. I feel very good, all prepared for day 5. So I am currently sat in the break room, and I have started to crochet all of the cream, going around all the little squares. A lot of them I got done on the train actually, and I think I'm going to get these completed. I think I'm going to get it all done. Whether I'm going to stitch them all together or not, that's another question. So I have just left work, and I have got all of the cream all crocheted, ready to all be stitched together. So I got loads done today, which is good because I'm going to the match tonight with my dad. So I've got basically a few hours now to get them all stitched together, and that means that I have made my my moderated goal that I made for myself, 48 squares in 5 days. doable. Doable. Difficult, but doable. I have just got back from the football and it was amazing. We won 4-0. But now I'm so tired and I didn't actually manage to get all the pieces sewn together. So I'm gonna try and do that tomorrow. Oh, I'm gonna do 9 squares. We're gonna see what happens. Will it get done? I don't know. So this is just me from the future coming in to do day 6 because I didn't record anything on day 6 because day 6 was crazy. This is what I stitched together. I don't even know if it's showing it on the camera, but it's the 48 squares. This is what I managed to get stitched together on that day 6. Day 7. I managed to get all 48 squares stitched together, so that is completed, and then stitched to the other 48 squares. So now I've got all those squares all stitched together. So today I need to start working on more squares for the next load of 48. So that is going to be my job today on my lunch break, is cracking on with those additional squares so I can start stitching them all together. I managed to get done 4 squares today in work. 4 squares, and I managed to stitch 2 of them together. Weaving in the ends takes so much time, but I just know if I don't do it, then I'm going to end up with this giant blanket and I'm not going to get it all done. What I realised today as well is it is so cold outside and I really need to make myself a little headband. So tonight what I'm going to focus on is maybe starting a little bit of a headband that's going to go with my uniform because my uniform's black and I'm sure I have some chunky wool. So that is what I'm going to be doing tonight. So I've started to make this headband. How I've done it is I'm using some chunky wool. I think it was literally just from Hobbycraft years and years ago. I chained 8, did 8 double crochets, and I continued along for 40 stitches using a size 6 hook. So it's quite big. It's quite, the stitches are quite big. It's quite airy. It's quite springy. I just want something that's going to cover my ears, so doing that size 8 stitches worked really well. Now, when you're going to join, what you're going to do is you're going to fold both ends over, both sides, and then you're going to sort of fit them in together. So I'm going to show you how you do that. So you put one on top of the other halfway, fold the other side over, and then fold the other side on top of that. And that is what you're going to stitch together, up and down, going through those stitches. So I'll show you again. You put one over the other halfway, you fold it over, and then fold it over again, and then you stitch through. So then you turn it inside out, and here is what it actually looks like. Isn't that cute? So this is what the headband looks like. It is super cozy. I put it underneath my hair. It's keeping my ears nice and toasty because today there is a wind chill. There is a wind chill and I am frozen to the bone. So this is going to keep me nice and warm. The rest of my lunch was spent focusing on my granny squares. I stitched 2 granny squares that I made yesterday together and then stitched them to the 2 that I stitched together yesterday, making it 4. And then I spent my time starting to crochet up some more granny squares. I also worked on the train on the way home. I think in total today I probably crocheted for about maybe an hour and 15 minutes, not including this evening. It's been a productive day. Here I am, day 9, sitting in the lunchroom, and I am working on this granny square blanket. I did think I was going to get more done this week, but we've had so much on. These 2 I finished last night, and then these 2 I finished on the train this morning. Now I've got them all attached with these little safety pins. I got these on Amazon ages ago and they've been so helpful. I know people have these lovely pretty stitch markers, but these are just so like easy. I don't really care if I lose them. Now I've put that little safety pin on the edge there, so I know that I'm going to be attaching it to the larger piece. It's just a really, really good reminder, especially if we're sat on the train and we are crocheting or we're stitching things together, it's hard to be fumbling around in your bag. Another thing that I found really, really useful is doing all of the insides with those colour changes rather than having to get my scissors out every 5 minutes, bringing out different balls of wool out of my bag on the train. Just doing those outer edges in the cream on the train has really, really helped. Also stitching things together. I also forgot how difficult, and not necessarily difficult, but how time consuming stitching things together is. So that is something that I'm trying to leave to these train journeys. Now, my plan for this evening was to go home, have my tea, get myself all cozy in my chair and spend a Saturday night crocheting, watching TV with my family. But unfortunately, the way life turns is that was not what was going to happen. When we got home, as I sat down to do my crochet, we realised that my little boy's face came out in hives. So we ended up rushing to hospital because we thought he was having an allergic reaction. Luckily, he was fine and we just got some medication and he was absolutely okay. So thank you so much for keeping up with me with what I've been up to this week. It's been so fulfilling so far and I'm really, really enjoying documenting the process as well for everyone. If you haven't had a chance to have a look at my Just Giving page, the link is going to be in the notes for this. It's also on my Instagram account, which is just @StephanieMitchard. And if you like this video, remember to like and subscribe. It really helps me out if you like and subscribe. And thank you so much. Bye.